Welcome, Eddie Campos. So we're going to be doing interviews every week to see what makes certain agents tick, so you guys can relate on how to be successful in your own way. So my first question to you, Eddie, is how did you get started into real estate? For all the people that don't know.
Yeah. So for me, it was really kind of a family business because my mother's been in real estate for over 20 years. My dad was a commercial real estate agent as well. And then I was always working customer service jobs where I'm talking to people, I'm working with people, I'm face to face. So at a certain point in life when I got tired of doing a lot of the things I was doing, thinking about what I could really do as a long-term career, real estate, of course, popped into my mind because at this point I had developed enough social skills to be able to hold a conversation with somebody, especially with an adult, and have a professional conversation with them. And, the desire to, well, I thought you could completely create your own schedule in real estate.
Yeah.
Which is
Which is the biggest
opposite.
myth. Biggest myth in real estate.
You work on everybody else's schedule. You no longer work on your own. So, but besides for that, I thought I'd have a lot of freedom, which I do, to kind of do as much or as little as I wanted and be able to live my life. So
And you also work full time here as well, so you're juggling that too. So he's working full time here at Keller Williams Shore Properties, working with a lot of the tech, helping agents make sure they know everything about command and all the other tech that Keller Williams offers. And he also is an agent. So for everyone who thinks that it has to be only a full time thing and you can't do anything else, Eddie's a great example of how you can actually have a dual career. And a lot of our agents here are dual career. Whether it's a side hustle they also do, or this might be their part-time thing where they work a full-time job. It's a great thing about real estate is that you could put as much time as you want to put into it, but the amount of time that you put into it is directly related to how much success you'll have. So if you're looking for a full-time income, more likely than not, you're going to be needing full-time in order to do that. But if you're only looking to get maybe 4 or 5 deals a year, that is possible with having a full-time career.
Yeah, absolutely. And you could even do more than that. I mean, we have dual career agents who have done, they're just like the top agents in our office. And there's actually sort of a benefit to doing it, despite the fact that it'll take up a lot of your time because now you're working 2 jobs. You have a lot of connections and people you're talking to and meeting at whatever other job you might have. And you can utilize that in your real estate career because it's just more people to know about your business, which is really the number one struggle of real estate is getting enough people to know that you're a realtor and getting enough people to trust you to use you, whereas another job kind of helps you make some more of those connections sometimes.
And I think a lot of times too with W-2 jobs or other jobs that are related to real estate is that it gives you structure. So if you're not somebody who can work with a totally unstructured schedule and make your own schedule, because that's necessary in real estate, you're going to need to know exactly what to do with your time, and not all your time is going to be linear when it comes to the results. These results can come exponentially. They could come not at all for the first few months. So it's not really an exact science when it comes to, I have to do this and then I get this when it comes to real estate. With real estate, you could get quote unquote lucky. Like people say that you're not really lucky at all. You're still doing the work. But if you have a friend or family member that says, I just want to sell, then, that takes a lot. It's a lot easier than having to lead gen for 3 or 4 hours to get someone to finally call you back and then setting up the appointment. So, like I said, it's not in completely linear results. Like, it doesn't matter. And you could have 3 or 4 closings one month and have none the next month. It really depends on how structured you are and what your systems are doing. Now, I also noticed that you're not the most extroverted person.
I am not.
You're not, and you're still successful.
Yeah.
So if you want to walk me through why do you think that is, that you're not as extroverted, which a lot of people have a connotation that all real estate agents have to be extroverted in order to be successful. So you do a great job at the back end, and you have a lot of systems. So I wanted you to talk a little bit more about that and how you balance that as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think it really comes down to whether you're an introvert or an extrovert, someone who likes going out. Listen, there's going to be a lot of benefits if you like going out. You're going to meet a lot more people. You're going to make a lot more connections. But regardless of that preference, I'm still a people person. So whenever I get a deal, and it's mostly almost 100% through referrals for me because it's just friends of a friend, friends of family members, whatever it might be. when I sit down, I really educate them on the entire process, and make sure that they feel confident using me, and not only just using me, but doing a real estate transaction, because it is the biggest usual purchase or sale of someone's life. Normally, someone only goes through that process around 3 times, if even. So making sure that they're comfortable is number one. And then if you give someone a good enough experience, and this goes way beyond just real estate, but if somebody, works with you and they had such a good experience with you, they will recommend you to other people. And that's really the way to build your real estate business.
Absolutely.
And I'm sure you know as well.
I'm 100% referral based as well. I don't pay for any online leads. I don't pay for anything that would get somebody else's sphere. I just work my own sphere, and I try to get my name out there as much as possible through events, through other ways of doing business. My day to day, I try to visit as many local businesses as possible, because when you invest in the community invests back into you. And my career for the last 7 years has been a direct proponent of that. I wouldn't have a career if I didn't invest in my community, if I didn't try to build a community. And that's an example of other ways you can build a business. Like, we build our business completely different. However, we're both 100% referral based. There is a great value to that, because now we're not held captive by the Zillows, the Realtor.coms, the Homes.com that are selling you leads. We can make our own leads, and those things will be more enhancements to what we can do, if we decide to go that way. And my last question for you actually is, what is your overall perspective on today's real estate market? Are there any myths that you're passionate about debunking? Is there anything about today's real estate market that you want the general public to know?
Yeah, I mean, I would say the biggest one is people saying how unaffordable homes are right now. Listen, I'm not going to say that it's cheap to buy a house right now, because it's not. But the best time to buy a house, and it sounds like a sales pitch, is whenever you can afford to buy a house. And the reason for that is, if you can make your monthly payments comfortably, you can afford that down payment, and you get out of the cycle of renting, that's just a game changer in life in general. I mean, most people later in life have more money, and it's not because they're saving more cash, it's because they now have more equity in their home that they purchased. So I think that's a big thing for especially first-time home buyers. It's very scary dropping thousands of dollars and then being on the hook for all of that money. You have to worry about so much, but if you can get into it and you can afford it, paying that money every month to yourself is such a larger benefit than paying it to somebody else, because you're literally just throwing it away at that point. So
absolutely.
Of course, again, it is expensive. It's always going to be expensive, to buy a house. No matter what market you're in, houses are not cheap, but you get plenty of value, because not only are you paying for just having a house, all of the experiences you have in it, the whole life you live in it, it really, transforms everything. It really matters so much.
And the old saying goes, your rent's 100% interest. So if you're worried about interest rates, you're going to be paying an interest rate no matter what the market is, right? And the great thing about buying a house is that you can leverage against it as well.
Exactly.
I bought my house in 2020, and it has gone up over $200,000 in value, and most of that is because of the market overall. So time in the market beats you trying to second guess yourself, analysis paralysis, and not pull the trigger. It just, now that's another asset that I can leverage in it and still live in it. There's so many different positives about buying, but at the end of the day, you have to wait. You should go when you are ready. However, the longer you wait, you're going to see higher prices, and interest rates are going to fluctuate a little bit in the near future, but they're not going to fluctuate a ton this year based on what we're seeing. So if you're waiting to pull the trigger, you may just be waiting for the housing prices to go even higher. So
it's always a scale. I mean, when interest rates go down, prices are going to go up. When prices go up, interest rates are going to need to come down to balance out the market. One's always going to be high, and that's unfortunately the reality that we live in, and the bad news that we have to give people. But, I mean, even if you look at what happened during COVID, interest rates were the lowest they ever were. So prices skyrocketed. People were submitting 30-plus offers on each home, and, there's never a perfect time to buy.
And I think the great thing about this market, too, even though it is still pretty crazy, inventory is still very low, and that supply-demand factor is always going to affect the market. However, great thing about this market compared to the COVID market is you may actually get a couple chances to look at the house and actually see what you're actually buying. If we can remember the COVID times, there was people buying off of virtual showings, people not even seeing the house and said, yeah, whatever, 30,000, 40,000 over ask. And we'll worry about it if there's anything majorly wrong with it later because we just need to put their offers in. This market is not as crazy as far as timing wise, but it's still pretty fast.
It
It's
is.
just
It is.
not as fast where you can still get a comfortable 1 or 2 showings in to make sure you're making the right decision and you're not missing out on a huge like crack in the foundation or something that's going to be a direct no-go right on your first or second showing.
Yeah,
So
every time it rains, there's 2 inches in the basement.
yeah,
Like
I've seen flooding in houses that I've seen with clients, and I alert the homeowner immediately and say, hey, do you guys know about this? These are some of the things that come up when you're selling your house that if you are not having an agent that's looking through everything with you, or if you just, a lot of times mistakes happen, you don't realize until you're in the sales process. So that's important that you have someone experienced walking you through the sale and the buy. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it for this week, but we're looking forward to getting your feedback and what you guys want to hear about. We have 2 experts right here, and we specialize in different areas in the market. I think there's a lot of different things that we could talk about, but I think this is a great introductory to what we can offer you guys. So any feedback at all is greatly appreciated, and we look forward to hearing back from you guys. Have a great week.
Yeah, thanks for joining us.
So I think this is, where was
So
it?
hit stop recording.